Here's a name I see in credits a great deal with the Fantasy Prestige Milestone label. 10th and Parker is a studio you inhabit a great deal, isn't it?
Yeah, with McCoy Tyner. I've done work with McCoy Tyners and Bill Summers.
Well, percussion is the name of the game for you, isn't it?
Well, not only percussion, because I play keyboards, and I'm into synthesizer, and I play bass.
This is an amazing crew. When I think of you teamed with Herbie Hancock, the fact that you're all multifaceted musicians and you're futurists in a sense.
Yeah, if you say so.
Well, your use of technology as well as the acoustical standard percussion. But there's something I want to talk to you. It's your physical state on that stand. Your incredible energy, Alphonse.
But a lot of it comes from the mental, my mind, and it comes from my brain, and it just applies to my physical, because I was very tired physically even before when I came in, because I hadn't gotten any sleep. And waiting on planes to get here. The planes, United Airlines were on strike, so I didn't know I was going to get here. I was really fatigued, but I had to perform, and it's a mental state of mind. And sometimes it's the best music that comes out when you're really tired.
That's a kind of strange thing.
No, because I can be in good shape, and it can be boring music, and I sound like nothing, because it drains my energy. But when it's good music and my mind is in a good state, I can apply the physical aspect of the music. I mean, the energy that you listen to, if you felt, was because, not that I'm just in shape, it's because of the mind. It's very powerful, and it controls my whole, being.
Alphonse, do you have a discipline?
Yeah, I do. I like to control myself when I feel that it's necessary. And, it all depends on where I'm at or what I'm doing. It all depends on different subjects,
Do you have a routine for this discipline that you follow?
No, it's no routine. It's just spontaneous. Whatever comes out, when it comes out, how, and I deal with it. And that's how I deal with life, I never think about anything, before I do it. Just because I've experienced so many things at different times that if I wouldn't do it if I think it's not cool. Just like when I'm playing, if I want to do things, I don't think about it. It's not rehearsed. My drum solo never rehearsed. I haven't practiced in about 10 years. I don't believe in practicing. I mean, I have practiced. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't believe in practicing, but when I was young, I did it 8 hours. And I believe in playing and performing and then bringing out ideas every night, creating.
You're much like the visual artist.
Yeah, and that's my form of practicing, is creating, coming up with something new every night.
When you were growing up and thinking about music, what music were you listening to? Who were the artists that you were listening to when you were coming up from the state of youth to maturity?
Oh, everyone. R&B groups, rock bands, the old rock and rolls in the 50s. I was born in 1948. I'm 30 years old now. I listened to all the rock, and then I listened to jazz. There was my family who had Buddy Rich and Max Rose drum duo thing together, And I listened to Cannonball Adderley a lot. And there was an album by Billy Taylor, Trio. So those were like 3 jazz albums I think I had there. I think there was another, Carmel Jones, the trumpet player. There was an album in the house of him. And I listened to those guys, There was few jazz albums. When I got into jazz, I kind of liked it, Okay. When I first saw music, it looked ridiculous. It looked like Greek to me. When I was like 4, 5 years old, when I saw music, I figured I would never be able to read this stuff, But I started playing at 12, and at 14, 15, I started winning scholarships and awards, playing percussion, and it just kept on, and here I am now.
How does this present experience working with Herbie Hancock?
Well, that's a good experience. I did it for the experience, because me and Herbie never played together before, and I have my own band. And I to do this gig, I canceled two tours, And I lost a lot of money, 6 figures, to play with Herbie. And I wasn't doing it for the money, just for the art, just to play with Herbie, for the experience. And I signed up for it, and I got a commitment, and it's nice. It's been working out good. It's good for me, and it's good for him. But like in May and June, in July, I'm back out with my own band, Mouzon Electric Band, and then I have a producing career with Vanguard. I got one record a year, 5 years for Vanguard, which I produce a group called Poussez. It's Poussez, which means push in French, and that's like a disco group. I'm the arranger, the producer. I played bass, drums, keyboards, everything on it. I wrote all the charts and produced it.
The disco movement is something very special, isn't it?
It is very special, and not everybody can do it, right, because it's a certain way to do a disco record. And it's very artistic to do it. I mean, because you can say, well, it's easy, but it's a lot of work involving disco and getting it the right feeling, the right thing that will get to the people, the right hooks. You have to think of that. You can't get too complicated. You can, but it's got to be the right feeling. It's got to be the right sound, the right production. And so that's what, no one ever have heard a record like this by me. And so it's at 30 years, like people say, well, you're moving to something else. You're showing that you can do this. I got people like Frankie Valli, their manager and stuff. They heard this stuff and they flip. And they say, where is this guy? And they're trying to get in touch with me. Some people told me the other day, they gave my number to this guy, would work on a deal because he gets Frankie Valli the Four Seasons and some other big shots, and I can do it for low cost. And it's another thing, I work fast, and I know what I'm doing when I go in the studio. I don't goof around. I have it all planned when I go in the studio to make a good disco record, and I choose the right singers, the right arrangement, the right songs. And then I still have time to create, with jazz and play, And I think that's good of me being a jazz musician, rock musician. I play rock, anything, to be able to do a record like that the commercial producers and arrangers can do too, and do it just as good or even better than they can. And here I'm a jazz musician.
Is there
at that, because people think drummers can't do anything, just play the drums, and well, it's more than drums,
Well, when you play with McCoy Tyner and Herbie Hancock, the drums have a very special function. Where are they, and what is your function?
My function is to supply the melodic. I mean, the drum is very melodic. They're very energetic, and it's to support the soloist, and to direct, to follow and to lead,
Thank you very much, Alphonse.
All right, you're welcome.